Way back, since I can remember, I've always shot film back when I was younger. But I used to shoot with the Kodak. They were disposable cameras, so you never really did any of the exposure. You didn't mess with any focus. You just pretty much point the camera and shoot. So this is my first time using a full manual 35mm analog camera, which you control pretty much everything except for the ISO, depending on the film. But you control your exposure by the aperture and your shutter speed. And it's been a great experience, learning experience. I'm just going to share a couple of photos that I took using this camera from the 60s. I love the anticipation and the excitement of getting your prints from a photo lab, because when you're using film, you don't know what you're gonna get until you get your prints. And it took me back to my younger days when I was shooting with the disposable film cameras, which was always fun. So to my surprise, as I got home and starting opening and going through the photos, I was very pleased that most of the shots that I got were actually pretty good. They were pretty sharp and the colors were all okay, and some of the exposures were definitely off, but it's not the camera's fault. I think it's my fault because I'm still learning as far as using the exposure triangle on an old film camera, and I didn't have a light meter, so I had to use the Sunny 16 method, which kind of helps you with the exposure. But either way, I think the pictures and the photos, the prints turned out pretty good. I really enjoyed the process of shooting the camera, but also this process is getting them printed and looking at the results, because that's part of the excitement. I think I have a digital camera and it's still fun to use, but I think the analog, the controls of the film camera definitely slow you down. Because each picture, each shot that you take, you have to be very aware, and you have to be sure and everything with your focus, with the exposure, with the composition, to line up right before you press the shutter button. Because you can't just delete the picture, it is what it is, and so you have to take your time. It slows you down, which I think it's a wonderful thing, especially when I'm out with my kids and all these places that we go to. When I have my camera, it slows me down to be aware of everything around me and also what they're up to. And it's a great experience shooting with film. And I'm happy that some of these prints turned out really good, very good. Happy with the prints from this lab. Yeah, and then some of them towards the end, like the last pictures in the end, didn't turn out. They were underexposed, the focus wasn't right, but that's not the camera's fault. Like I mentioned, it's more my fault that I'm still learning how to use it. But either way, the pictures, even though some of them are underexposed, I think they still look cool. They still have that vintage look. They have that grain, that old vibe, you just don't get that with the digital camera. So I put them in the album, and they'll be there for my children to see in the future, and it's always good to have. Hope you enjoyed this little